Honorable colleagues, I'm Emmanuel Makoji Egwu. I represent Igalamela Odolu of Ibaji Federal Constituency of Kogi State. Honorable Speaker, the motion is on the need to declare Kogi, Enugu, and Anambra states as oil-producing states. This motion is being sponsored by my humble self and two others from the boundary communities where these oil deposits and the hydrocarbon activities have begun. The House is aware that oil is the most important foreign exchange earner for the country, but knows the dwindling revenues from oil caused by both the fall in international oil prices and the drastic reduction in oil production occasioned by insecurity and other challenges in the oil-producing areas. The House notes the concerted efforts by the federal government in prospecting for oil deposits in various parts of the country in the hope of increasing domestic production, even though at good cost to the government. This House further notes that government is fully aware of already explored and determined huge oil and gas deposits in commercial quantities in Anambra Basin, which cuts across Ibaji area, Ida 1, Alade 1, Atu 1, Ini 1 in Kogi State, and Ezeagulu Otu, Enugu Otu, Unzam, Eze Anam, Anaku, or more in Anambra State, and Iga, Ojo, Uzowani areas in Enugu State. You are also aware that the failure to optimally explore this already established huge deposit in Anambra Basin, which will generate social and economic activities in the basin, has caused disaffection and crisis across those border states and occasionally led to bloodshed among citizens in the border corridors, where this oil is in high commercial quantity. I was further aware that between 1952 and 1986, three companies, namely Shell BP, now Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC, ELF, now Total Fina ELF, and Ajib Energy had dug 25 exploration wells in this basin, but abandoned them due to the government policy then that these deposits are to be for strategic reserve. The House is fully aware that OPL 901 and OPL 902, previously OPL 444, were all abandoned in the region to waste despite NNPC, MPDC on their own, having carried out seismic activities in the basin in parts of Kogi, Enugu, and Anambra states with the same results. They are so equally concerned that there have been lingering boundary demarcation cases between the National Boundary Commission, before the National Boundary Commission, between Anambra, Enugu, and Kogi states, as ordinary peace-loving neighbors have now had to resort to violent activities against each other owing to inaction of the government. They are also cognizant that Oriental Resources PLC has since 2012 been prospecting on OPL 915 and OPL 916, derivable from the three adjoining states of Kogi, Enugu, and Anambra, but these have not been commercially mined as it is awaiting oil mining license OML from Department of, that is from DPR, years after former President Goodluck Jonathan flagged off the operations of Oriental Petroleum Resources. The House believes that the declaration of Kogi, Anambra, and Enugu states as oil-producing states will not in any way jeopardize the ongoing field tracing and provisional boundary demarcation between the states by the National Boundary Commission, but will rather aid in determining the percentage of derivation accruable to the three states. Equally, to be noted is that hydrocarbon activities have begun in this basin, but not optimally utilized. The House resolved to urge the federal government to direct the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, to open up roundtable bids for oil prospecting and mining on the existing discoveries. 2, also urge the federal government to declare Kogi, Anambra, and Enugu states as oil-producing states, since exploration and mining activities have begun in the basin since 2012. 3, to set up an ad hoc committee to determine the commercial viability of the oil and gas deposits in the Anambra Basin in order to optimize the commercial mining in the basin where hydrocarbon activities began in 2012. For the benefits of the three states and to increase oil revenue for the country and resolve all outstanding boundary issues between Anambra, Kogi, and Enugu states. Mr. Speaker, this is my motion.
Honorable Solomon Sia. Hembe's amendment that was seconded by Honorable Ogene, I guess, was to delete prayers 1 and 3 of the motion. And that amendment was taken. How can you say no? This is it.
It was after he has raised it and proposed it.
Order,
Mr. Speaker.
order, please.
Mr.
Order.
Speaker, sir.
Deputy Leader, please take your seat.
No, I disagree.
Honorable Leo Ogo, please
It
order.
was after.
Honorable Hembe, sorry, please.
Take your seat, please.
You have to come clean on this. Deputy Leader, please.
Acting Leader, please.
No need to allow tempers to flare.
Please.
Honorable TJ, please.
Order,
One
please.
house.
Silence.
Honorable Hembe, it appears that the house has been misled on account of this. Sorry, just take your seat. Let me be done. We were discussing, Deputy Minority Leader was talking about the conditions that must be met before a state is declared as an oil-producing state. Then Chinda now got up to say that no, that prayer has already been deleted by virtue of Hembe's motion. And that prayer is prayer 2. By here before us, we have prayers 1 and 3 as what you move for. And then we now said, okay, we are abandoning that line of thought because prayer 2 has been deleted by virtue of your amendment. And prayer 2 is not listed here. So clearly, what
Honorable members,
was it
please,
that you actually
order.
proposed?
Order, honorable members, please.
When I
Please.
got up, Mr. Speaker, when I got up, Honorable Police, hold on. When
Please.
I got
Please,
up,
order.
take note of this. I read prayer 1 and about the DPR and NNPC. When I finished, I read prayer 3, set up another committee to determine commercial viability, and I said it means that they have not even determined commercial viability yet. Then I said so. Then I went ahead and said, for the benefit of the three states, to set up. Let me finish. Set up an ad hoc committee to determine the commercial viability of the oil and gas deposits in the Anambra Basin, in order to optimize the commercial mining of the basin in the basin where hydrocarbon activities began in 2012, for the benefit of the three states and to increase oil revenue in the country and to resolve all outstanding boundary issues. Then I went ahead and said that there are even boundary issues in Anambra that he has raised here, and that on the basis of that they should delete prayer 1 and 3. No. I got on my feet. I didn't touch prayer 2. I didn't touch prayer 2. I didn't touch prayer 2.
But we have voted on it. But what did we vote on it? What did we vote on? Prayer 1 and 3. So if you delete prayer 1 and 3, the motion is as good as dead.
Mr. Speaker.
Consideration of item number 14, item number 13 on the order paper. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I read prayer 1 and 3. Then Mr. What you said. Apologize. You misled this man.
Motion. What was the motion?
That's what I said.
So, honorable colleagues, prayer 1, 2 deleted by virtue of the amendment that Hembe moved. So we have prayer 3 to work on. Except this amendment, I'll just put the caution on it and then we'll move on. Samson Oku.
No.
You have done that.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Samson Oku, honorable.
President Oduobi, Federal Constituency of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, you see, if you look at the motion, the body of the motion, we are aware that the issue of oil, they determine the land, the dispute, the land between Anambra and Kogi has been in a dispute for a long time. Now, if as associate of this committee cannot come and determine the viability of the production of that of the crude oil. I mean, of the production of that of the production level of the crude. Therefore, what I will say here, Mr. Speaker, is that the committee that can be set up only here is to determine whether there are determine the problem between Kogi and Anambra as related to the land dispute. But we cannot talk about the production levels, sir, because there is nothing on ground now to even determine, because they have not started any production.
Honorable Jones.
Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, Honorable Sir Jones Chukwudi Onyere, representing Nkwere Isu, Nwangele Njaba Federal Constituency, Imo State. Mr. Speaker, let me first call our attention to the fact that, first and foremost, we are lawmakers. You see, it bleeds my heart when we keep arguing on certain issues and forget the fact that we are here to bring the attention not just to the people, but also to the executive of things that they are meant to pay attention to. In the Congress, Mr. Speaker, even small issues about bugging of phones is a major national issue. And as Congress people, they attend to all these issues. This whole argument, there is nothing wrong with a lawmaker calling the attention of the federal government. I'm not from Anambra, I'm not from Kogi, I'm not from Benue. To the attention of the federal government that there is need for you to look at this certain criteria to know whether these states meet up to the criteria to be called oil-producing states. That is what this motion seeks to achieve. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. They are not saying, and it's the prerogative of the executive to first and foremost declare a state an oil-producing state. Our duty is to codify it. We call for the amendment of the NDDC Act and add it there. It's just like the executive announcing ministers. It doesn't make them automatic ministers. They will still come back to the Senate for confirmation. That is our duty. So there's nothing wrong with a lawmaker calling the attention of the federal government. No, sir, you have not looked at this issue. These states are producing oil. There is a tendency that these states will have the commercial quantity that will make them oil-producing states. Please take a second look at it. And as an ad hoc committee, they can call the attention and look at it and make sure that they are doing the right thing. And that's all. So this number 3 should go. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The only thing we're left with is just prayer 3 of the motion. 1 and 2 deleted by virtue of Hembe's amendment. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it.